How have you stayed so gorgeous and active? I mean, I know you're active and you're doing things, how are you stay so wonderfully healthy
Well, that takes a
through
lot.
these
It's a
years?
community that does that, I mean, because mental health is important also. And, there's times that it can be challenging. And that's
Mhm.
where you reach out to others to get help.
If you don't know me yet, I'm Robin Thomas, founder of Living Well Connections, a healthy living community that supports, educates, and empowers us all to make healthy decisions toward a more balanced and fulfilling life. I have a background in medical research, and I love exploring the interplay of our physical, mental, and spiritual selves. Today we have a truly inspiring guest. She's a veteran of the Air Force, a dedicated wife and grandmother, and a savvy businesswoman for an incredible 39 years. Today we're chatting about balancing it all, staying healthy through thick and thin, and how her business has thrived for nearly 4 decades. Let's give a warm welcome to Jeanette Deathridge.
Thank you for coming on my podcast, Jeanette. It's so lovely to have you here.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be a fun and interesting conversation because, as you know, we are all over 40 and fabulous, and Jeanette is one of the more fabulous women I know. So your background is fascinating. I'd like you to tell us a little bit about your background, because you have had a very different life than I have had. So we all like to know what your experiences are, and just basically, well, tell us what happened when you graduated from high school. What did you do?
Well, I was sitting in science class and my girlfriend said, let's go talk to the recruiter, the Air Force recruiter. I was like, okay. The next day I was there and she didn't show up. But I was enthused about, joining the Air Force. My brother had been in the Army and I remember the uniform and everything. So I decided, okay, I'll go ahead and join the Air Force too. I had just one semester of college and then I went and it was my first airplane ride to basic training. So that was really interesting.
Wow, I
Yeah.
bet.
Yeah.
That gets you in shape,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
Right there. So you joined the Air Force.
I did. I joined the Air Force. The rest of I'm sure all the other services would have been great, but I really wanted the blue Air Force. And it didn't really turn out that way. I ended up in the green uniform for quite some time. I was in
Oh my
fatigues
goodness.
and combat boots. And it's like, I didn't join the Army. Why is this happening? But it's really something that I'm glad that I did. I really am.
So how long were you in the Army yourself? I mean, no, not in the Army. Your brother was in the Army. How long were you in the Air Force yourself?
I did 3 years active, and then I went in the reserves because with my husband being in the military also, by the way, we met in the military, so that's kind of fun.
Oh, how
But
nice.
yes, we met in technical school. And I don't know if you know this story, but we only knew each other for 2 months when we got married. So,
Really? You
yeah,
knew it. You
yes,
just knew it.
I did. I was 19 and I had to go home and get my parents to sign because in Mississippi, you had to be 21 and I was only 19. So I don't really know why they did sign it, but I'm grateful that they did sign it and I got to get married. And so that was cool. But like I said, he was in the Air Force and they were going to send me to the Philippines and not him. And that's when we decided I would go in the reserves. And I went in the reserves. I was there for 7 years in the reserves. So 3
Oh,
active
okay.
and 7 reserve.
Okay. So a decade. That's quite a service to us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And your husband, he was also in the Air Force.
Yes,
Yeah, and is he retired now?
he is. He stayed in
Yeah.
for 28 years.
Wow.
So we
That's a
moved.
career.
Yes, absolutely.
So being in the Air Force, I mean, I've known military families before. Here we are, and I'm in North Carolina, so there's a lot of military here.
Mhm.
But you keep being moved.
Yes.
You traveled a lot. I mean, you not just traveled, but you had to move your whole family, pick up your family, and go. How many
Right.
times?
We moved 13 times. Yeah. And first it was easy and great, and then it started getting more complicated, you know.
With
So we had
children?
one child. Yeah, so we had one child first. We actually went to Japan, Okinawa, and then our last assignment was Tokyo. So it was really interesting that we had both those Japan assignments. We've never been in Europe or anything like that except for visiting. Um, oh, but there was something I was going to share with you. I was in the Air Force, and then with the reserves, I thought, well, that's 1 day a month, right? 1 or 2 days a month, and then 2 weeks a year. Well, Desert Storm happened, and my husband got called, and he was usually gone 1 month out of every 3 because of what he did. So he gets called up, and we had a baby. And a couple weeks later, they called me, and I thought, well, I said, well, I have a baby. We just moved here, and they're like, okay, when can you find a babysitter? I was like, you mean I'm really getting called up? It's like, yes.
Oh,
So I told Monday I would find a babysitter, and they said, we'll see you at work Monday. And it was like 12.
how old was your baby at this time?
Oh my goodness, maybe 6 months.
Oh my.
So yes. So it just, I thought, oh my goodness. But that's the cool thing about being military, of course, is that you get to, you find people around you that are military spouses, and we help each other out. So,
Mhm.
and I actually joined Mary Kay before that. So I was already had a little bit of experience with the Mary Kay company and girlfriends and that kind of thing. So we had both that we could rely on when we got called to active duty. But he came home, and I was still on active. I was still working, 7 days a week. And I thought, okay, now we realize we can't even do that. That's why I only did this reserve, because somebody had to stay home. And, 'cause
Absolutely. Your family needed your support and
yes,
emotional and physical support. Yes. How
absolutely.
many children do you have?
We have 2 girls. One is 28, and she lives in DC. And then our other one is 32, and she just happens to live a mile from us.
Oh,
And she's the one that has our 2 grandsons. So she
and you
has
have
them.
2 grandsons.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
wonderful. How wonderful. Yeah. That's great. So you have a lot going on. So you have, and I know that your husband's now retired from the military, right?
Right.
But still you had this long career of working and moving and having your own business also, and being a mom and being a grandma now. Tell me about the business a little bit. Like you started with Mary Kay, and you're still with Mary Kay 39 years later.
Yes. Well,
That's
the great
amazing.
thing is you own your own business, so you get to set your own hours. And when I first started, I got very well trained. I would go to the meetings on Monday, and I would go to training on Tuesdays. And finally, I was just kind of going to training. So I was very, very well trained. And I had one of my mentors, she said, I don't see you actually working. You're coming to get trained, but why aren't you holding appointments? And it's like, well, I don't know. And then she says, well, don't you have any bills to pay? I said, no, I don't have any bills to pay. Everything's paid up. So she says, okay, you need to get a debt. So I got a Thunderbird. I don't think she really meant for me to get that big of a debt, but it gave me the incentive to go to work and actually hold appointments. And you know what happened? 6 months after I got that Thunderbird, because I was working, I earned the use of my first company car.
Oh, wow. That's quick.
So then I got the Thunderbird, and I was driving the Mary Kay car. I didn't ever get a pink one, but they have different levels. So it was really, it was an opportunity where, she pays taxes, and mostly insurance. So that was just really fun. We did that for 22 years. I got a car every other year. So
Oh, wow.
11 cars earned in 22 years. So it's very consistent, but at that time
But you would get a new car every 2 years?
Yes.
Fabulous. They lease,
lease.
they're leasing.
Yes. But
Yeah,
it's
that's
still,
cool.
I mean,
That just shows how much you actually really put into the work. And
yes,
work.
I was really.
How about the Mary Kay community? Because people tend to stay with Mary Kay a long time.
Yes, I've got
Must have a
girlfriends
fabulous
that's
community.
been here for 40 years and older too. So yes, I did 39 so far. And so I'm sure it'll be 50 one day. But yes, the Sisterhood of Mary Kay is amazing. I mean, I remember going to conference last year, and of course I sat with all my friends from Oklahoma, so I got to see them. These were buddies that I had for years and years and years. But on the way home in the airport, because they got to drive home from Dallas, there was some lady, I got my plane was delayed, and there was ladies sitting there, and they didn't even have pins on, but you could tell by their smile, you could tell about the engagement. And I
Yeah.
just walked up to them and said, "Are you with Mary Kay?" They said, "Of course." So I got to sit with them, so I wasn't sitting by myself. And it was just really fun to see. It was like we were instant friends. We had so much in common, and it was just very cool to be able to say, "Oh yeah, there's a Mary Kay sister pretty much wherever you go." And it really, like I said, that support and everything makes a big difference.
Absolutely. And especially having a military family and being a part of the military family, and you're moving so much, was it a kind of a nice continuity of having, especially now that, well, I don't know how long you did it before you could reach out with the internet, right?
Right, we use telephone. Isn't that something?
Telephone. Yeah, telephone. But still, there's, that's friends for a lifetime.
Oh, absolutely. I still am servicing customers that, I met back in Oklahoma. So, and we all grow old together, babies and all that. And now we're talking about our grandbabies.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting, because of being with them. Like I said, we were all about the same age at the time. So it's just really fun growing old together. It's like, you don't feel like you are. You just take every day.
Well, those times pass like that.
Absolutely.
It seems, afterwards, you're going like, what happened? And that happens to all of us, no matter what. How have you stayed so gorgeous and active? I know you're active and you're doing things, how are you stayed so wonderfully healthy?
Well, that takes a lot. It's a community that does that, because mental health is important also. And, there's times that it can be challenging. And that's where you reach out to others to get help. But COVID was a very interesting time because we actually moved here. This is our 13th move when everything closed down all at the same time. So
you moved to Florida.
Well, we were already in Florida. Yeah, we were in Panama City for like almost 10 years. And then we moved to Tallahassee for 2 years. And then the kids are like, "Oh, wait a minute, we have your children here." So that's why we're here in South Florida. That probably wouldn't have been our first choice, but it absolutely is with the green kids here. So that's why we're here. But when we first got here, I didn't know anybody. We were isolated because of my husband's health. And we hung out with our kids, which was wonderful, but I only had the Mary Kay from customers that I had, before. I wasn't going out there to meet new customers. And in all honesty, like I said, mental health is important. That those first 6 months, I didn't even put my makeup on. I was not feeling myself at all. Right. And then when I decided, okay, I'm getting a haircut finally, I brought them into the house and they cut my hair. And then when I put the makeup on, got the hair done, then I felt more confident and I was able to go out and meet people and socialize with people. But wherever I do the most socializing still is through Zoom. I belong to many, many networking groups. And so that's a lot of fun.
That has really been a saving grace for me, the Zoom networks.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it is. You really can get to know someone. It's more difficult if you can't meet them in person, but you really can get to know someone. And you do such a great job of staying in contact with me. Handwritten birthday card, anyone? I love it.
Well, it's just fun. And I really do feel very close to you. And I feel close to a lot of the people I met.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add? If someone, I know when you're working with Mary Kay, you're really doing a good service, no matter what their age is with women. I know you can work with young women, but if you're working, I was definitely someone who, before Zooms and before Zoom calls, I never wore makeup.
Okay.
And it was the Zoom calls that got me, oh, well, I think maybe I need to be a little more presentable.
Oh, you won't want to see me right waking up in the morning. You won't want to see that person. So. But it makes
Well, that's,
you feel good. When you put that lipstick on, don't you feel better?
yeah.
Well, yeah. And it's just, we have this program that you can actually you can do all the different colors through video, and you can try
Oh,
them.
really? Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes. So that's kind of fun. So,
That is good.
I mean, and then I send out lots of samples to people and that sort of thing. But the fact that they can try on different colors, eyeshadows and cheeks and lips, is kind of a really cool app. And it's a free app. So it makes it.
That sounds neat. And that, that'd be a way to just uplift someone and just to, like you said, mental health.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a big part of.
Because as we get older, we get, I think, feel more self-conscious about how we're looking.
Mm-hmm.
Either that or we give up.
Well, it starts when you're a teenager. I mean, I had horrible skin, so my self-esteem was not very good because I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin because it, I had broken out and all that. So now I feel better that I can help other people because we have a line that can work with them for acne skin.
Okay.
So yeah, I can work with the wrinkles down to the acne and everybody else in between.
Well, that's lovely. Well, how do people reach out to you if they want to talk to you?
The best way is find me on my website. You can also call, which I'm just going to give that out too. It's 850-896-8982. So if someone just wants a friend on the other line to talk to, I'm more than happy to do that. I do have a website that's pretty easy to find. It's www.marykay.com/Jeanette D. And you just add the D is for declaration. Yes. Jeanette.
Okay. And you know what? You give me that information and I'll post it in the show notes. That's what I'll
do. Thank you.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much. This has been loads of fun.
Well, I appreciate you, and it's been great. So thank you so much.
Well, take care. And definitely, Jeanette is a wonderful person. If you want to reach out to her, she's just a great friend, and she's a great role model and mentor on how to age gracefully.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me at my Over 40 and Fabulous podcast. Please let me know if you have any questions about this episode. I will publish new episodes at noon Eastern on Saturdays, so you can listen and watch at your convenience. If this podcast has been helpful for you, please share it on your favorite social media platform or share directly with your fantastic friends. Bye for now, and I'll see you in the next episode.